Yeah, so a couple things. So one, when we make breed generalizations, right, they're all over the place. Like they are, it's like making generalizations about people and race and everything else, right? Those things are wrong a lot, right? So when I say golden retrievers are like this, or German shepherds are like this, or huskies are like this, or whatever, and Malinois are like this, the big thing is there are trends within breeds where you see certain types of behaviors more frequently or less frequently. It doesn't mean that there aren't, when I say there's going to be a German Shepherd that acts like a Golden Retriever, and there's going to be a Golden Retriever that acts like a German Shepherd, right? They're out there for sure. And so when I say these things, and we know that there are certain types of traits that are common in a certain breed, then it helps me not be surprised when those things happen. So if my German Shepherd is possessive of his toys and doesn't want to bring them back to me but loves to carry them around, I'm like, oh, how shocking is that? Another possessive German Shepherd. Gee. But if I say I'm expecting that from the dog, then I'm much more likely to be ready in the moment to deal with it in a way that's positive for that dog, where I make good outcomes. And so when I make breed generalizations, it's just like that. It's one, to isolate the fact that different temperament types can respond to the same kind of situation very differently, but also it's to say, if you have some information about what Labradors are generally like, you're not surprised. But then when your Labrador eats an entire bag of dog food, right? Because you weren't watching. And so having those things available, you still need to pay attention to the dog in front of you. And all those things may be completely wrong for the dog you have in front of you, and you have to pay it. But it helps me get a leg up and be slightly more prepared for that. Hold that thought, so don't forget it. So, and then the next thing is, when we start talking about body language and behavior and reading what the dog's feeling under those circumstances, it's an inexact science, right? So people say tail wagging is dog happy. Tail wagging can be a sign of arousal, right? And it can come with aggression. So there are dogs that when they're about to bite something, pit bulls are famous for it. You hold a pit bull and you have it looking at another dog and it's there like this. Tail's wagging a mile a minute and you let it go and it grabs on like, yeah, baby, yay, right? And you see dogs in protection work that wag their tail during protection work. Other dogs, it's an appeasement behavior like, hey, look at me, wiggly happy kind of thing. And so we can't make gross generalizations about specific external signs. Growling, a significant portion of dogs growl as a threat display. When they're feeling stressed, they growl to warn you like, hey, you're stressing me out. Next step is I may aggress towards you or whatever. Other dogs growl when they're playing, right? So Rottweilers are famous for growling. Well, you're just petting them. You're rubbing on them and they're like, brrr. Dogs will play with each other and some of them are really noisy. They sound like they're killing each other and they're totally happy and they're fine. It just comes along with that. So if we say growling means a dog's feeling threatened, then I'm going to be wrong in a significant portion of cases. Same thing. And is my dog barking because they're feeling threatened? Is my dog barking because they're excited and want to go say hi to somebody? Those are all possibilities. So your dog may see somebody new, start wagging its tail and bouncing and barking because it wants to go say hi. And another dog saying like maybe aggressive and still wagging their tail. And so you get to know a given dog and you take the totality of their behavior and you make an assumption about what's going on inside after you look at all of it. But one specific signal isn't necessary. See, same things like piloerection, a dog's hair standing up on their back, is a very common sign that the dog is stressed and afraid, and it's a defensive mechanism. But there are some dogs, they're very uncommon, but there's a small percentage of dogs that do that when they're playing. So if you throw a ball for them, their hair will start to stand up while they're chasing the ball. There's an arousal response, and it's an involuntary thing, and the little hair follicle muscles contract, and their hair stands up. You get a dog that's got piloerection on the base of its tail and the lower part of its back while it's chasing a ball, obviously not feeling threatened and afraid there. It just is a symptom of arousal for that dog. But the vast majority of dogs, if their hair stands up, you should be going like, oh, they're a little stressed, right? It's a defensive display on their part. And so when we look at any of those things in an absolute way, we can get ourselves in trouble. So with Jack, knowing his temperament, he might be a little anxious, but his response to anxiousness is, generally speaking, to appeasement behavior, right? He's going to say hi and wiggle and like that kind of thing. Or he might just be happy. He might be excited to see somebody. There's a whole host of possibilities. Just watch the dog overall, get to know kind of if that's going to transition into the dog showing other signs of avoidance and things like that, and then manage it accordingly.